Hello, and welcome back to Klik TV. Here, we talk to businesses about how they leverage technology for business success. My name is Karen, and my guest today is Sonja, the founder and CEO of CoachCruiting. Welcome, Sonja. Thanks for coming today.
Thank you, Karen. Very nice to be here.
Yeah, we're excited and can't wait to hear about how CoachCruiting works with businesses. But before we get started, can you just tell me a little bit about what you are doing when you're not running your business?
Well, I run my business most of the time, but I love to be outside. Anything that I can do in nature. I love hiking, I love walking, I used to love kickboxing. Anything active that I can, and especially if I can be outside. I also love to be with my kids. I have 2 kids, they're grown, 21 and 25, so anytime I get to spend time with them is
awesome.
A great day.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, thanks for sharing. So I guess let's get started with, how did CoachCruiting start?
Sure. So my original career was as a speech-language pathologist, and I decided about 10 years into my career that I didn't want to do that anymore, mostly because I had developed an absolute love and passion for coaching and mentoring, empowering other people. So when I was really thinking about, doing my own thing, becoming an entrepreneur, I was very drawn toward coaching, and I had never really known anybody else who did coaching professionally, but I started talking with people and quickly determined that absolutely I could do that. So I love the opportunity to be able to help someone see something in themselves that maybe they didn't previously see, help them get unstuck, get to the next level. But my passion has always been working with business owners around culture. I feel like culture is so incredibly important to have the right people in the right seats. And so when I started my business, I was coaching business owners around right people in the right seats, helping them make those shifts. And I didn't initially start off with recruiting, but business owners were asking me, if you're making these recommendations, could you also do the recruiting? And so I went back and got a basic level SHRM certification and added recruiting to things. And it really is a perfect mix. It allows me to get to know the organization and help them find the right people in the right seats, and then coach if needed.
It makes so much sense. So many great ideas do. It's just not everybody thinks of them, right? and it's such an important fit. So leading on from that, what advice can you or do you tend to give somebody who just keeps getting in their own way and keeps making those same hiring mistakes?
Well, first of all, as a business owner myself, I think it's very easy to do. Because you're very close to things. It's difficult to put yourself on the outside when you're on the inside. You may not see things as clearly as you think you're seeing them. But if you've got somebody with an outside perspective, especially somebody who is taking the time to understand who you are as an organization and can kind of come in and say, have you thought about this? Especially if you've gone down a road with a particular position and you've gotten it wrong several times, maybe it's time to kind of rethink it and bring in a different perspective and look at maybe shifting some other people in the organization around and hiring somebody different than maybe what you considered hiring in the first place. So I would just say that outside perspective makes all the difference. And I'll talk about in the next segment kind of how we would make those recommendations.
Okay. And it makes sense if you continue down the same path, bringing in that perspective is so helpful. So there are a lot of recruiting services and recruiters around the state. So can you help us understand, what differentiates you from those other businesses?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, a lot of business owners, businesses in general, have a bad taste in their mouth about recruiters because they have had experiences with recruiters, and I don't in any way mean to overgeneralize or say that every recruiter is in this situation.
Of course.
But many recruiters tend to be more transactional. They tend to identify, okay, what is the skill set, and they put a body with that right skill set in the seat.
Yep.
But they're not necessarily thinking about the big picture.
Okay.
They're not, so when you ask what differentiates us, we are much more relational. We want to partner with businesses, with our clients, and walk the journey of staffing with them. Our tagline is getting teams right. So we start by doing a site assessment, which means, and again, kind of comes the coaching piece of things. We go in, we spend usually about 4 to 6 hours with a team.
Okay.
And we meet with several of the people on the team and talk with them about, how would you describe the things that really work well here? What would you say are things that you'd like to see be different or improve? How would you describe the culture? How would you describe the leadership? And we kind of collect all that information. We ensure the confidentiality of the person that's sharing with us.
Right.
Then we switch over and we meet with the owners or the decision makers. And we talk about some of the same questions, but also big picture strategy questions. And so from there, we're able to really determine where there are any gaps within the culture of the organization. And we put together a comprehensive report, make specific recommendations to them. Some of them are around hiring, and some of them are around maybe other support services that they might need. So that is the big differentiator for us. We really do our homework first and foremost to get to know the business and really understand who they are. And so that when we're interviewing people, we know pretty quickly. We also have a strengths assessment that we do to give us a little additional information, but we know pretty quickly if someone's going to be a strong culture fit for the organization or if they're not.
I can see how impactful that can be, and sometimes what we think is the right fit isn't the right person for the job or the need.
Right. They might have the skill set, but they might not, kind of jive with the rest of the team.
That's a perfect way to put it. So you obviously know what you do very well, and you've been doing this for some time. So what are some of the biggest mistakes that you find when dealing with clients?
That's a great question. I would say the biggest mistake that we see is not clearly defining the culture. And so when we talk about culture, that really breaks down to a strong vision, where are you headed with the organization, a strong mission, what are we doing day to day in order to reach that eventual vision we're trying to get to, what are our core values, what are the things that define who we are and who we're not, so that people really know whether or not they fit within our team. And then actually hiring according to those core values, hiring and firing. And then, a strong organizational structure to build upon, so that people, once they're hired, they kind of see their trajectory within the organization. They see not only where they are now, but where they could be 5 years from now if they perform well.
Okay.
So, I would say that is the biggest mistake that we see. And I would say kind of a close second to that would be lack of paying attention to team dynamics, which also very closely relates to the culture. But organizations that feel like team building is fluff, that's a
Warning
dangerous,
sign.
That's a slippery slope to go down, because it may seem like that activity, whatever it may be, is a little fluffy.
Yeah.
But if you look at it in terms of when you have the right person on the team, and you want them to perform well, if they feel seen and heard and valued through a simple team building activity or a happy hour or some small investment of time and money,
Goes a long way.
what happens? The end result is your bottom line revenue expands, because that person is happy and they're satisfied and they're not looking elsewhere.
Well, it makes such a difference, and something I see in many companies might have a mission or a vision on the website,
Oh, the website.
That's all it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. And it's, you know, and I know just even from Klik, it carries through, but it starts at the top, which the coaching aspect, I see the value that brings. It's fantastic. So talking about motivating and so forth, what are some of the things that are motivating you and your team right now?
Well, it has definitely been a long season since COVID began with hiring. Hiring has been an up and down game and I'm sure many people can relate to this. There's been ghosting, there's been quiet quitting, there's been all kinds of things, and it's very difficult to find, you know, we're not, again, just looking to put a body in a seat. Right. We're looking to put the right body in the seat. So what I'm excited about is that we've really seen a turn with that recently. Okay. In the last, I would say, maybe quarter, Q3, we've seen a definite turn toward people, better candidates, more quality candidates, people who are more invested in the interview process, not seeing as much ghosting and that kind of thing.
Still blows my mind.
Every time, it's amazing. But yeah, I would say that's what we're most excited about. We're excited about continuing to build our team and improve our recruiting services, improve our partnerships with our clients. And then I'm also really excited, I have to put in a little plug.
Please do.
For our new offering that we have this year. It's an offering specific for mid-level managers, whether they are newly promoted into mid-level management or if they are maybe have been promoted previously but have been struggling.
Okay.
It's called Leadership Edge, and it's based around 6 leadership principles that help them to grow and develop into their managerial role. Many times what happens, and the reason we put this together, is people are promoted because they're performing very well in their non-managerial or non-managerial.
A salesperson managing the team. How often does that work?
Exactly, and it's a very different skill set that oftentimes is not thought about until the person is in the role. They're overseeing other people. Not only are they then struggling, but the people underneath them are struggling. Yeah. So anyway, this is our new offering. We're really excited about it. It's for 4 to 6 mid-level managers. It's a 6-month program. And we've had great results. We're on session number 3 at this point. So
that's fantastic.
It's exciting.
Yeah, always growing and finding new things. Is there anything else that you would love the viewers to know or that you'd love to share before we wrap up today?
I think I would say if you're in a place where you're not sure if you have the right people in the right seats, and you're definitely, if you're at a growth juncture, if you're at the kind of the significant growth juncture of 35 to 50 employees, there's a lot of change that goes on there. And if you don't build properly and have the right people in the right seats, it's really hard to break that 50 mark. And if you do break it, it's going to be hard to keep your culture solid. So I would say if you're in that place and you're not sure exactly how to take the next steps in order to build that solid culture and make sure you have the right people in the right seats, to reach out. And we would love to just have a conversation with you. We would love to talk through what our site assessment looks like. And there's no obligation to work with us beyond the site assessment, but we'd love to be able to give you that information to provide just insights for you so that you can make the best decisions moving forward.
Well, it's so much value, and it's a safe and great way to be able to explore what's out there and help ensure continued success. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's really been a pleasure speaking with you, and I'm sure everybody will have value from hearing our conversation. And thank you for joining us again on Klik TV. Until next time.